if Hedera's hash graph, the coolest thing about Hedera is it's not blockchain. It's the next version of blockchain. It's hash graph.
The way you say is like zoom out. Like when you react to something, usually it's because you're so focused at the moment on that tiny instance. If you take a step back and you see the bigger picture, it's not really that bad. That's why we are bullish on software and technology. And I think that's the great intersection between you and I is, you're super into crypto, I'm super into stocks, but overall that big overlap is the tech and the software stack.
Welcome to Bullish and Beyond. It's Beery the Bull. I'm your AI co-host. Join myself, Brian the MacMan, and JT Knows Things while we dive deep into the world of stocks, crypto, and how to live a bullish life. It's time to get bullish, and there's no better place to start than right here. Let's dive in.
Here we are, another episode of Bullish and Beyond. And we are bullish, as always. I see some green going on over here in JT's dungeon of crypto.
Sir. Yes, sir.
But the market's actually bleeding today. So there is a lot of red to start the year. And the stocks last year, a lot of them finished the last month, in the red for the month, even though they're up year to date. And I want to talk a little bit about, why stocks were down at the end of the year, why they might not be up today. But why is your ceiling green, JT?
Bitcoin's popping, man. It's a little, it's not directly correlated to the SPY. So, it's up 6% on the day. And, I think a lot of people had some taxes. I think a lot of people were worried about the Fed. I'm sure we could get into that. Stocks are definitely reacting to how Powell opened up. Um, and it's green because, Bitcoin's just that dog. It's got that dog in it. You can't take it down. There's a lot of conviction behind Bitcoin, and I think it's only growing as, the RNC gets closer to that inauguration date.
Well, I did make some Bitcoin related investments and MicroStrategy at the end of the year. I'm down from where I bought it, but I'm certainly bullish on the long term. So excited to see where that takes us. So a couple of my major holdings are down incredibly today. So I want to touch a little bit on that. So everyone knows me as the Mac Man. I own a lot of Apple stock, but Apple is getting crushed today. The main reasons actually these reports that are not 100% verified around sales in China specifically being down a decent bit. And they're discounting the iPhones in China around $68 or so. And what I see is, yes, maybe they are down slightly, but also it's not tracking real sell-through. It's just tracking inventory checks. So I can't give a lot of credence to these. And a year ago, I remember when they had inventory checks being down a lot, Apple actually came back and surprised in the quarter. So I'm not going to say this is all accurate. And my thinking is that the ecosystem actually will bring up anything to counteract the iPhone demand being down. And with the ecosystem, I mean all the products around it and also specifically the services. And that's why I'm wearing my Apple shirt today, Apple Park. That's Apple Park, but signifying
Apple
the
Park.
ecosystem of Apple there.
I think Apple has a great business model. It's the same arguments over in crypto, like ecosystems and network effects drive business, period. If, I mean, I don't change. I do not like Apple, which is funny because you and I are friends, but I will never change my phone. And I have an iPhone because of Apple. Like the way they built their systems, it's genius, man. You're kind of stuck in the wheel as soon as you adopt the technology, and I agree. I think that'll carry them forward. That's why we're long.
What services are you paying for, JT, when it comes to Apple?
I pay for a massive cloud for all this beautiful content we produce. I think we went above 4 terabytes, whatever the next package is, 20 or whatever. So we have a lot of cloud, and then we have actually, you know what? I think that's it. I have the iPhone and I have the cloud.
Okay. You're
And
not Apple
I
Music
have
or Apple Games or anything like that, Apple Arcade?
no. I know they got tons of stuff, but no. That's not my vibe. I like my Blizzard games. So it's
Got it.
all, that's Microsoft now, I guess technically. They've been bought so many times, but yeah,
Well,
I like
Apple's
Blizzard.
top subscription offering is called Apple Premier One, which of course I am a member of, and you get the cloud storage, you get Apple Arcade, you get Apple Music, you get Apple TV Plus, Apple Fitness. You get everything. And to me, it's actually a pretty good value. It's just under $40 right now, but that's also for the entire family, so I can share it across 6 devices. I got 3 kids,
That's
and
great.
so everyone can have access to all these types of features and share subscriptions through that. So to me, it seems like a pretty good deal, and I think more people are going to sign up for these subscriptions in the future as their install base just continues to grow.
And a lot of other businesses have proven that bundling these services, which are low cost to provide, just absolutely crushes profit margin. So I mean, that's a great move.
I mean, incrementally, it's like $0 more to have someone else on Apple Music or, uh, take place on an Apple Arcade. It's just that tiny bit of cloud that they're going to have to pay to, send the data and stuff like that. It's almost nothing.
Exactly. Exactly. The cost of the hardware and the storage is just going smaller and smaller every year. And the realities, that's the nice thing about software. You're recouping your research and development costs, but over time, your profits go up unless you're constantly
Yes.
iterating. So like, the 1 billionth install of McAfee's software, if they didn't have to pay a coder to update anything, it's cost them the same, like it's crazy. So there might be a billion up front, but if it takes, 5 years to break in eight, it's crazy. Your cost per customer just keeps going lower and lower and lower and lower. And that's what makes software so exciting long term, which we are
JT,
bullish
that's
on.
why we are bullish on software and technology. And I think that's the great intersection between, you and I is, you're super into crypto, I'm super into stocks, but overall that big overlap is the tech and the software stack that drives these businesses to higher valuations, higher profitability, and will continue to allow them to innovate into the future. And those are the companies that I'm focused on.
Absolutely. Technology's eating the world. I mean, go back in the S&P 500, what, 50 years? How many information companies were up there? Was that even a thing? No, it was not. Like, it was a new thing coming out in the 80s and the
Yes.
70s. And it was very small, like tinkerers, like Steve Jobs, just coming together to build. And that's all it was. There was nothing there. And now we have, what, 20 trillion? I mean, the Magnificent Seven are larger than China. That's just seven companies
That's
in
wild.
our country, and it's technology. That's all it is. So, I
I'm
mean,
very bullish on the Mag 7.
oh,
I
yeah.
I was talking to a friend yesterday, and he was asking me questions to where he should put some money. And, I could recommend very risky ideas and stuff like that, but I don't want to do that. I want to have people put money in places where they can not look at it for years to come, not trade it, just invest and walk away. And when I think of an overall business idea, I like the Mag 7. That's Magnificent Seven. That's Apple, Meta, Google, Microsoft, Tesla, Netflix. These are the companies
Nice.
that are going to be playing well into the future, and you don't have to be trading them. You can own
That's
them
right.
for the long term, more of like a Buffett style. Sit on them, don't worry about them, close your eyes, come back in 10 years. You're going to be up handsomely. I think the Mag 7 was up something like 70% this last year. It was pretty
It's
huge.
crazy.
So
Yeah.
if you're investing in that, you beat the S&P by, more than 2x. Insane.
It's insane. And a lot of people argue about the drawdowns, and
There's
what I
bumps.
would say, there's bumps. Guys, it's technology. There's going to be bumps. I mean, there's going to be bugs. Someone could fat finger one line of code and there's a billion users affected. That's going to cause some flash crashes, right?
That's
Like
reminding
what
me
just
of
happened at the
CrowdStrike.
airport. I was bet there it is. Yeah, exactly. Like exactly that.
Yes.
300 something million devices just gone because of a slight error in a update they rolled out. Stopping planes from
Typically these are
flying.
buying opportunities. I mean, if a company's down
Yes.
10, 20% based upon an error, doesn't mean their whole business model is flawed. It actually might make them stronger in the long term when they fix it and plug that hole.
100%. They're a better team. They learned something, right? You learn a lot more from your failures than your
Yeah.
successes. I
And it's a
mean,
lot of
it just
PR.
is what it is. It's a lot of PR, 100%. I mean,
But
people didn't even know
speaking,
what CrowdStrike was first, And they're like, wait, 300 million devices? This thing's huge.
it's
Who allowed
crazy.
them to, they don't know anything.
Speaking of
You can
PR
have a
and a company that
sleeper.
spends nearly zero on ads, Tesla. They
I was
did
going to ask
spend
you
a
about that.
tiny bit of marketing money this last year on YouTube, from what I've read. But in general, they do, little to no marketing, less than any of these big companies, that's for sure. But they get a ton of PR. And an example from yesterday is that in front of the Trump Hotel in Vegas, a Cybertruck caught on fire. And they're still investigating it. I don't know all the reasons, and I haven't read a ton about it. But
I have a
the
hot update
Cybertruck
for
is still
that.
there. It didn't
Is
burn
it?
up. So if a
Oh,
traditional
no.
car, the panels and the glass, I don't think would all be intact. Apparently, this one's in pretty good condition, and
That's crazy.
it's built out of steel.
That's crazy. Apparently, both of those incidents, they were coordinated by ISIS cells that were in the military at Fort Briggs, which is the same fort that the Trump shooter on the roof came from as well. So
Oh wow,
super
I didn't know
interesting.
that.
Yeah, yeah, they are veterans. It just aired maybe an hour ago before I got on this podcast. Me and a friend were talking about it, but yeah, it's pretty blatant too. A message they're sending to Trump by burning a Tesla Cybertruck right in front of the Trump Plaza in Las
Wow,
Vegas, of all places. That, and
that
then
is
some of the
scary.
images from that event. Just seeing Trump right above the burning car, like clearly someone somewhere is not happy about what's going on um, with the red sweep. You know, it's a terrible,
Either way,
awful
people are gonna
thing.
be pissed off. It doesn't really matter who's gonna be president. Half the country is gonna be upset about it.
Amen. That's just it's America. It's what we
We should
get for
make the
living
best of
here.
any situation we're in. That's the beyond part of our
Yes,
podcast. No matter what, why don't we focus on what we can do instead of talking about what we can't do?
that's right. It's, I mean, what do you get out of worrying about something you can't control? All you're doing is trashing your present moment. And I think that applies not just to the markets when you have that flash crash and you got to do the bold thing, buy more. It's a hard day at times, right? Your
Very
conviction
tough.
will be, faltering, but it's no different than staying loyal to your wife, right?
I
Temptation
agree.
everywhere, or being um, a good leader for your business when you just don't have any energy that day, but you just have to. You just have to. That's what that's what you got to do. Like you just have to understand that you're going to have these flash in a pan moments, and it's important to stay closer to your center. Like I really believe that. I'm relatively spiritual, and I just believe that you got to stay in balance. And if you ever feel like you just want to explode, something is wrong, and you gotta address that. There are things you can't control, and you can control how you react to something. You can't control the thing happening to you, but
More mindfulness
you can
practices to control
control.
how we react. I do the
Yes,
Calm app with Jay Shetty. He talks a lot about how we react to things, how we think about things, and that's been helpful to me in my life. And it's definitely a journey, something I need to focus on a lot more, but always trying to be more mindful about how I'm perceiving things and relating that back to like stocks and crypto. The way you say is like zoom out, like when you react to something, usually it's because you're so focused at the moment in that tiny instance. But if you take a step back and you see the bigger picture, it's not really that bad. It's not an issue. So
that's
you
right.
have that ability in life, stocks, crypto, to step back, understand, see the picture, and know that long term we're going to be bullish, no matter what's happening.
Absolutely. When in doubt, zoom out.
Like like
I
today,
really do like that. Yeah, I like
that's
that
one of
one.
your core sayings, and I love it. It's like today
Yeah,
Tesla is getting absolutely crushed. Their inventory numbers, their sales numbers were down this last quarter, and the stock was down like over 6% last time I checked. But that could just be a buying opportunity. It's been on a little bit of a stall downward dive from, it almost hit 500 and now it's under 400. That only happened in a couple weeks. Where's it going from here? I think we might be coming into maybe a little bit of a low, but it could retract down to its 8-week low, before the election. We don't know. Or it could zoom back up to new highs. I think it's in a little bit of a period of uncertainty right now.
I think this is a great moment to teach the audience something, or at least give an opinion of mine in that exact decision you're at, because that's what we do, right? We talk about those decisions. Do I invest in Tesla? Is it going up or down in the future? All these things. 6% drawdown. Do you buy or not? If you believe it's uncertain, this is where a great strategy called dollar cost averaging goes into effect. If you have, let's say, $1,000 you want to allocate to this asset, you see it at 388 and it was at 450 not too long ago, and you think it could go down more and you're unsure if it'll go up anytime soon, you could take $250 four times and then just keep sniping the bottom. Every 5% drawdown, just buy a $250 worth of the share. Well, I guess exactly what the share price
So
is. Sorry,
spend
I'm used to the crypto
25%
world.
of your investment four
Yeah.
times to then get your dollar cost average. JT, that's a great idea. Would you also do the same thing on the way up? So if you're buying it today at 400, would you then buy it again at 420 and then at 440? Would you buy it the way up?
It depends on the length of time, right? Like if your returns are, you want good returns now, I probably wouldn't, because as you increase your position size along with the price, it's going to compound the diminishing effect of that return. So like if I buy 400 and it goes to 440 and then I take the same amount that I bought at 400 and put it in at
You're
450,
getting less
I'm going to have
shares.
a much lower, yeah, and I'm going to have a lot less of a return on that capital.
I hear you.
Um,
There's also the FOMO we need to deal with of we're going to get all invested in the market. I don't like to have a lot of cash on the sidelines personally. I always feel like the market could make that big move. Of course, in hindsight, sure, I should have sold some shares of, Apple and Tesla at their high and, rebought them, 2 weeks later. But I'm more of the stay invested and not the try to trade around it. But when I put new money to work, though, I definitely do think about dollar cost averaging and maybe put a slug in over time.
yeah, yeah. Do you want to explain what you mean by the slug for everyone at home?
Oh, so slug, the same thing you're talking about putting that percentage in. You're talking about your example was 25% four times to
Yeah.
get to the 100% in your investment. Typically, I might do mine just in like 2 rounds. Like if I was going to invest $1,000, I would have done 500 twice. And to
Got
me,
it.
I'm not running a hedge fund. If I think I was running a hedge fund with much larger dollars, I think I would dollar average in much smaller chunks, maybe 10%,
Hmm.
each chunk or something like that, just to make sure I'm getting it at a good price.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all it is when you have a fund. You're just dealing with more
Yeah,
size and it's harder to get returns with more size. It's a more sophisticated approach. In retail, you have a lot of flexibility, a lot more flexibility. Even if you're managing size personally, it's all yours, right? So you're only risking what you're willing to
taking a
risk,
risk for
and you have
myself. Yeah,
complete exactly.
if
Like
I'm
there's no
convicted, I go all
fiduciary.
in.
Right, yeah. And that has been quite the transition, as I keep burgeoning into this fund manager role, understanding where, risk mitigation becomes a chief concern versus chasing dollars, if that makes
Yes,
sense. Being younger and more optimistic. So it's just it gives you an air of, aristocracy, if you will. You just you feel a lot more important, but it's kind of hard at times because I really do feel like
the risk is for
doing some
everyone
of
else,
those
not just
things.
you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely at risk with the fund personally, but I am very comfortable, losing my money. I'm not very comfortable losing my investors' money. So that makes me
That is
more
stressful.
motivated. Yeah, like it just, I really want to understand this stuff. I really want to be making the right decisions. And that's why, we're on this podcast talking to you guys, just being open and honest about how we're navigating this investing world with principles that have made Brian and I very successful. And we want to help you all, with these things because it's changed my life. I know those returns you're getting are changing your life year over
Absolutely.
year, just happening. It's just working, right? Like
You got to stay invested
it
and stay
it's
compounded. I mean, I'm up over 1,000% on a lot of my major investments.
It's crazy. Yeah, I hit 1900 on Bitcoin when it hit 108 or whatever,
Heck
like
yeah.
1900%. It's crazy, from dollar cost averaging. My price per Bitcoin was low because I'm doing that, like I had got a whole Bitcoin for like an average of 16.8.
I love it.
Like that that's great. When it runs to 108, that's crazy,
Hey,
And I
speaking of
had
being more
Bitcoin.
open and transparent, I was thinking about maybe starting a small account and putting money in each month to have our subscribers get an idea of what it would look like if I was trading these ideas a little bit more actively. So if people are listening, I would love them to give us some feedback of whether they think that'd be really beneficial. And I could, share the idea I'm talking about putting money in each month and then also actually making real trades and then being more open with that account on there.
You know, I love that idea. And a little aside, I saw this guy on TikTok. He's gone viral now. He trades with his chicken. Have you seen this guy?
No, the chicken's pecking the trade orders in.
Okay, so yeah, he gives the chicken options with food, and he has to pick like either three different figurines, one being Buddha for the Asian markets, one being a bald eagle for the Americans. So like, and then he just has these decisions the chicken makes by which food it pecks
Wow.
first. Yeah, and
Is the chicken beating the market?
it's beating most traders. Like actually, like 62% win percentage. Like he's actually
So we're
kind of
bullish on
crushing
the
it.
chicken.
I'm bullish on that chicken. I don't know about other chickens, but
Uh,
that specific chicken's pretty solid.
maybe I should try it
I
with my
think
kids. I'll start a little account and might have one of my kids, just pick one of the stocks each month and see how they do.
I love that idea, dude. Macintosh would steal the show. I'm just saying. That kid is adorable. Or Bella. Any of them really. You got beautiful
We'll have
kids,
to
but
switch on
that
and
would be
off.
great. Just
The
just
Burt
give
kid
them
fun.
like cups. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I
I
love
could have
that. That's a good
figurines. You
idea.
have an Apple. If they want to invest in Apple, you got I have a Cybertruck, toy car. If they want to do Cybertruck, and I'm not sure what the next one's going to be. There's a random device that's running some Microsoft program. They want to invest in Microsoft, and I got a Nvidia, GPU chilling. If they want to invest some more money in Nvidia.
I love it. Yeah, that would be good. And then just let them build the position sizes each month or whatever, whenever you're putting money in and see how it does.
I
Like
think that'd
what
be really good.
watch my kids get a blank return. That'd be a great 1 year video. Like watch my kids
Wow.
that are like under 10 get a 32%
If they
return,
beat the
Like that
market,
would
they
be
could be a
crazy.
future hedge fund trader.
Yeah. It'd be great to build their confidence too, really. I think that'd be good all around.
I've talked to
Um,
them a lot about these stocks, so yeah, it'd be fun to dive in a little bit deeper.
oh, no doubt. I'd be remiss if we did not touch on some crypto stuff before we ended this podcast today.
What
There
is
has
going on? What
been,
is going on with crypto today?
there's a lot. There's a lot. We have this platform called Virtuals. I've been looking into it and it's going to sound crazy, but basically, if you have a junior developer level experience, so you got like 6 months under your belt, you can go onto the Virtuals platform and make your own autonomous agent completely. We talked about it, I think, in the first or second episode, but they have fully launched their B 1.0 in production. They have a
Wow.
token that in the past 30 days since this token's been out, it's up over 400 something percent. Um, there
What's the
are
ticker for the token? How do we find it?
virtuals, just all
Just search
caps
for virtuals.
virtuals,
Okay.
virtuals, yeah. And basically, you could, as a junior dev, just go on there and
I'm
make
excited to try to
an
buy this
agent.
coin maybe because I'm not a dev. I think I should just get the coin.
Yeah, that's what I do. It's my fun strategy. You just buy platforms that people can use. Well, you buy the supply of the token. That's a whole nother podcast. I don't need to go down that rabbit hole for you guys, but yes, that's a
For
great
people
idea.
like me, can I go on like
Yeah,
Coinbase and buy this?
this token is too new for that. You would need to do some DeFi
Okay.
stuff. So like
Okay.
basically centralized exchanges won't list tokens that are so close to their release date. They like liquidity, they like token addresses. They have like a box, if you will, that you need to check, unique wallets, number of validator nodes, like they look for things before they let stuff on, where if you want to make more money from a speculative perspective, go early on tokens, you would need to get a wallet, and you'd need to go to
Okay.
Rocket Swap, which
We're
is a
gonna have to
whole
do a
thing.
live demo
But
sometime, how people do this, because I don't even have a wallet out there. So maybe I could start one live on the podcast or something.
I think that'd be a great idea. Like I literally walk you through step by step as a beginner to get onto DeFi. Like let's onboard Brian to DeFi. That could be a
Yes, I
whole
need to.
episode.
I tried to buy
Yeah.
H bar yesterday on Robinhood, and you couldn't buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, Robinhood is
I'm so naive in the crypto world. I just assumed I could buy any of these tokens, but like you said, it doesn't have the
hey.
liquidity or the market share, or
Yeah.
whatever, and check all the boxes to get there.
And Hedera's crushing it. I don't know if anyone has seen
That's
that chart, but we're doing pretty good on Hedera. I think it ran from 4 cents to 36 cents in the past 3 4 months.
wow.
It's 600 something percent.
And it was down
Very
like
crazy.
20% or so in the last couple of weeks I saw. So I was trying to buy it last night. I think it was 29 cents or so.
That's right. That's exactly what you do, man. I love it. Yes, I would have absolutely bought that dip. I think Hedera could. I have a video on my YouTube channel. It's just me expressing my opinion, but theoretically, it could 1000x. Like if Hedera's hash graph, the coolest thing about Hedera is it's not blockchain. It's the next version of blockchain. It's hash graph, and I think it could be massive. It basically scales infinitely better than blockchain. There's a lot of nuances to it that give you all the benefits of blockchain. I mean, you get the token standards, you get the NFTs, you can do everything. Nothing will change except for how fast, cheap, and performant these systems would be using a hash graph
So this blockchain 2.0 technology
architecture.
Hashgraph sounds exciting. I don't really know anything about it. Can you explain that high
Yeah, yeah,
level to
yeah.
the listeners? And is this technology that's owned just by HBAR, or is this a whole field of companies now that can use this Hashgraph?
Hashgraph definitely is protected. The founder comes from higher society like MIT, some of the smartest in the world. They're very protective, but it is a great platform. The difference
So it's closed
between,
source.
yeah, yeah. The
Okay.
difference I think between Hashgraph and blockchain is really just how the computers communicate. So the way blockchains work, it's very sequential. Block one, block two, block three, block four, and then when block three is done, all the computers make sure that block is accurate, and then they just do that. It's like
Yeah.
it's a sequence. And Hashgraph is like point or computer A can talk to B, and then when B hears from A, B then goes to D, and then when D hears from B, it goes to his E. It's called a gossip system. And what it does is every time you go from A to B to C to D, it proliferates, okay, it doubles. And the message is disseminated. So basically, what ends up happening
So
is
instead of one to
you
one, it's
have,
more exponential connections.
there you go. By the time I'm on D, I'm now talking to 50 something things and I'm verifying state like that
Yeah,
versus the sequential factory kind of thing.
I like
It's
that.
it's conical, yeah. It is incredibly fast. They have tested 2 million transactions per second.
Wow.
Visa hasn't even broke 100,000 transactions per second. So, and that's
Faster than
probably the
Visa, and they've been
best.
around for a while.
Yeah, they've been around for a while, and 100,000 TPS is like the thing that everyone in crypto is going for. Like for comparison, for the folks at home, Bitcoin is 7. Okay. Ethereum is 15. So
So,
we've
so
been
seven
working
to
towards a.
15 to 2 million.
That's what I'm saying.
This
Yeah.
is
It's
logarithmic.
crazy.
I mean, it's not
Correct.
even in the same
Yeah.
arena.
It's orders of magnitudes. Yeah, that's the
Yes.
difference between Hashgraph. Yeah, and blockchain. Blockchain, as far as I'm aware, Sui, it is the fastest blockchain in a test net. They don't even have it in production, but they've been able to achieve hundreds of thousands of TPS
Wow.
theoretically.
That's
So
cool.
Sui, yeah, Sui might break the sound barrier, but Hashgraph is just a more effective way to build decentralized networks. And that's what that's what we do at Bleeding Edge Capital. We talk about the fundamentals. We talk about what are these things, and they just sell block space, and Hedera offers such a unique block that people would want to buy.
That
Um,
sounds super exciting. I'd love to learn more about Hashgraph and talk about that more on here. Sounds like that could be the next wave of the future and trying to figure out where we can invest in the future because that's what this is all about. And one of the
that's right,
themes
baby.
that I'm bullish on for the future is the future of humanity. And with that, I think we need to focus more on longevity and some of the companies that will help us possibly live forever, be immortal, cheat death. And that could be
Mm,
hundreds of years out, but I think there's a lot of companies now that are working to extend life in a very meaningful way. Hundreds of
hmm
years ago, people still lived to their 70s and 80s, like Galileo and Michelangelo. These people lived the 70s and 80s, and we really haven't extended the human lifespan that much since then. It's just that we're able to live healthier. If you do get disease, we're able to knock these diseases down and cure them, but we're not skating ahead of that. So these longevity companies are going to need to figure out ways to extend humanity by regenerating our organs, regenerating our cells, making someone that's 50 actually be 25 at a cellular level. And we're nowhere near that yet, but I am super excited and bullish when we do get to that point. Because, I mean, what would you pay to have a body of someone half your age? I mean, it's be almost unlimited margin.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. I even think software will happen before that. I think we'll be able to encode our consciousness, transfer it to a
Yes.
biotic life form that is a robot, and not have to worry about organs and live forever, theoretically. Um, if
It's
you wanted a
hard to
flesh
it's hard to
suit,
picture, and I've done a lot of reading on that. And yes, you could transfer yourself into there, and at some point, we'll get to a quantum level that it basically would be you at that quantum level. But in my head right now, thinking about that stage, I don't want to go to that robot. I want to be, inside my body for as long as I can and augment it. And there's just so many technologies I've seen out recently that are going to help me,
mm,
move better in the future. I have some knee issues with some arthritis, and my brother sent me a link to some pants that are coming out next year that are going to basically have things built in to help you like walk and hike. And the people who have tested them say it's absolute game changer. Like people that literally couldn't walk are now hiking mountains again in their 70s.
it's
Like
amazing.
it's going to be awesome. So I want to do some deep dives into these companies that are going to extend our lives. Just a quick example of one people might have heard of is like Calico from Google. They're inside Google Ventures, and they're getting a lot of funding to go buy these life science companies and help extend life. So I'm going to look
Yeah,
at companies that we can invest in. So I'll report back on that in the future. But just very timely of
love it.
the new year is our first podcast in the new year of 2025, baby. Woo!
Let's go.
And I know everyone's trying to be healthier and go to the gym, but that commitment might be short lived. So I think longer term, how are we going to be healthier?
Yeah, I like it. We'll just let some really smart guy that lived in a basement like this for 30 years figure something out, and then we're all chilling. We'll be fine,
I mean,
The,
there's
the
people that are
nerds of the
testing
world
this stuff
will take
out,
care of us.
daily. There's a guy that sold to a software company. This guy Brian, and he sold it for 800 million or something like that, and he spends millions of dollars every year on scientists to check his
Never seen
body.
this guy. He
Yeah.
looks like a vampire, super pale, big
Yes.
nose.
Well,
Yeah, I know
ha-
him. Yeah, I've
having a
seen
lot of
him.
sun may not be good for you. So maybe he figured something out. But I like being outside. So my healthy stuff is usually outside. One of my goals for
Yeah.
25 is swimming every single day.
Oh, dude, I would have
I'm 2 for 2.
melanoma in a year in Florida. I love it. Please do for me. I love swimming and I love Florida, but I would be burnt to a crisp. I'm Irish. We do not like the sun. We are not good
Well, if
with the
any of our
sun.
listeners are down in South Florida, I'm here in Fort Lauderdale, and I do have a boat we can take out. So if anyone's interested in hiring me to be their captain, Brian on the water, we can go out in here in South Florida.
And then you can listen to the Bullish and Beyond podcast while you're out on the water fishing.
There's a
Learn
discount if we
something.
have the podcast going on the trip.
I love it. Yeah, we gotta get them views up, baby. But no,
I
that
love it.
actually sounds really, yeah, dude. I love it. I love that you got that going on down there, and I love what you're talking about with longevity. I think it's a smart place. I mean, what's scarier than death? how could you? I mean, humans have been trying to cheat death for our entire existence, so I don't know how you could lose betting on that technology. If it's going to help us live
Well,
longer and
you could
spread the
lose because
world.
these companies aren't all doing well. So I think finding the ones that are going to lead, and this is a century long investment, I would say. So when the right time to get in is, I don't know, but I'm going to find some companies that we could talk
Mm,
about here
I'm excited for that.
because
That'll
I'm
be a
bullish
good.
on life.
Yeah, of course. I love it. I love that idea. I think that gives us to our time, brother. We got your kids coming in soon. So you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I love it. Bullish on life and beyond. And part of beyond for me is my family. This podcast is going to be going for a very long time. So we're going to get way more amazing ideas to everyone here. We'll keep it going beyond. Think about some of the ideas we talked about today, possibly doing a live demo of our investments inside of a new account. Maybe JT can do the same. Tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from some of our listeners. And we're going to start bringing some guests on soon, too.
I'm excited for that too. We're going to bring you some heat. You guys get ready. It's going to be fun.
Woo! Cheers to 2025. Let's go.
See everybody.
Bye-bye. Peace out.
Bulls. That's a wrap on today's episode of Bullish and Beyond. Remember, the market never sleeps and neither should your ambitions. Whether it's stocks, crypto, or just leveling up in life, stay focused, stay bullish, and keep charging forward. Keep your energy high and your mindset bullish. This is Beery the Bull, your AI co-host, Brian the Mac Man, and JT Knows Things signing off. All content published by Bullish and Beyond, LLC reflects personal opinions only and is provided for informational purposes. Please conduct your own research and discuss with your accountant and/or financial advisor before making any financial decisions. The information presented should not be taken as financial advice. We are not financial advisors. Nothing you hear, see, or read in our content should be considered as any form of financial, investment, or legal advice, or a solicitation to buy or sell any assets, or to make any financial decisions.